You are still tuned in to Africa at Play. A very warm welcome if you have just joined us. We've got our East African correspondent Sam Mpoza from Kampala, Uganda. Let's move on to the latest in Ugandan sport.
Well, thank you so much, my brother. Yes, in Uganda, the fans are still happy that the Uganda Cranes won a game. They beat Botswana away in Town on Thursday night. They were able to secure a 1-0 win away from home. This is not a usual thing because the Uganda Cranes usually suffer when they travel out of the country, and that in most cases they win all their games at home, but they fall out because they cannot win many games away. But this time around, they were able to win a game away from Botswana. And now they have one more game to play in Algiers on Tuesday. Now, this win would have been very important, but Algeria also won their game against Somalia in Group G, and Algeria being the group leaders already because Algeria beat Uganda at home here at Mandela National Stadium by 2-1. And so they have also won many of their away games and home games. They only lost Guinea at home in Algiers. So funny, but it's true, it happened. But yes, at the end of the day, after beating Somalia 3-0 on Thursday night, they qualified to the World Cup with 22 points from this group. Now, Uganda is second position in this group with just 18 points. But now, when they get to Algiers on Tuesday, they'll be playing to ensure that at least they can play in the playoffs of the 4 teams that will finish second best in the whole of Africa, where they will choose one team to make 10 teams from Africa, and then the runner-up in that group, in that 4 nations playoff, will proceed to go and play the Intercontinental qualifier, which is very difficult for Africa. I don't know of any African country that has ever gone through such a qualifier. So that is now what is at stake for Uganda. Everyone, every fans, every sports stakeholders here and is in Algiers waiting for Tuesday to see what will happen there. Yes, and of course, so many people are hopeful that the team has really undergone a lot of transformation as we speak today. This is not the team that probably kicked off the campaign. It has become more stronger. They have, bonded more. A couple of new players have been added to the team, especially players playing from Europe. Many of them, there are many players that have been in Europe, playing in Europe with the Ugandan roots, but not actually staying in Uganda. Many of these players have been identified by coach Paul Put, and now they are part of the team. So we hope, and many Ugandans hope, that Uganda can surprise Algeria from home, because Algeria now, as we speak, they have already qualified, so maybe they may not put in as much as possible because already they have qualified. But the Algeria, this is a team that enjoys winning, and especially winning before their home fans, so it's not going to be a very simple game.
16:19 Central African Time. This is Africa at Play, live every Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time on DSTV Audio Bouquet Channel 802 or OpenView 628 if you are based in South Africa. Alternatively, you can connect with us from anywhere in the world online on channelafrica.co.za. Also available at your fingertips on SABC+. Also make time to visit our Channel Africa incredible website to access the conversations that you might have missed out on. Click on programs and search for Africa at Play. At the bottom right screen of Africa at Play, you can click on more to listen to those conversations. We still have our East African correspondent Sam Mpoza from Kampala, Uganda. Mr. Mpoza, apologies about that bad line. I know that now it's sounding a lot better. You can continue from where you left off. My question was, what has shifted in Ugandan football? Because previously it would be a struggle for Uganda to make it to that second spot in the FIFA World Cup qualifiers. But lately here you are competing with the best of the best on the African continent, lying second behind North Africans, the Desert Foxes of Algeria.
Sure. Like I was saying, since the year 2000 and probably some few years before 2000, Uganda started seeing the emergence of football academies that would target young players. We had the Kampala Kids League. It was managed by a European man called Trevor Dudley. I think he was a Dutch. He did a very big job here in Uganda to help these young people to learn football from the young age. Then we came after him. During that time, still we got a group of people called Friends of Football. This was a group of former football players and administrators who came up with another program of Friends of Football, and they were also targeting young people. They helped these young people create competitions for them, take them out at the ages of 11, 12. They would take them to Europe to play in those young age competitions. Then later, we also got the Edgar's Academy, which is being managed. That was around 2005, 2006, around there. Edgar Watson, the former Uganda Cranes captain, very good midfielder, now is the CEO of Uganda, the Federation of Uganda Football Association. He came up with an academy called Edgar's Academy. That also added to the two which were already there. Then later we got more academies. Andem Wesugo Academy, he was also a former Uganda Cranes captain who also formed his own academy in his hometown in Jinja City. Then we also had more academies came up, and many players, former players, started helping. Jackson Mayanja also had his own academy in Mukono, that is his hometown, and many others. Jackson Mayanja is also a former Uganda Cranes captain and is now a football coach. So the emergence of these academies helped so many young people to start playing organized football, because before then, these young people would play football, but on their own, in schools with games teachers who are not trained to coach football, but just because he's a teacher and is given a responsibility, and it was always a must by the Ministry of Education and Sports that every school was supposed to engage in sports, but there were no qualified coaches in schools. So when these academies came, they helped so many of these young people. Then that helped competition to grow among the young people. Then when they grew up a bit, many of them, when they grew up, of course, they joined the other competitions. We have so many competitions in Uganda. There's what we call the regional competitions, Masaza Cup. There's first division football, second division football, and many others. Now, this helped a lot because now these young people also got more exposure. And then when Sir David Mitchell, Coach Sir David Mitchell came to Uganda in 2004 as SC Villa coach, Sports Club Villa coach. He helped so many players to start playing football from outside, because by then we only had two professional players, playing from outside Uganda. That was Jackson Mayanja, who played with the Zamalek of Tunisia, and he also, I think, played for Ahari of Egypt. Then we had Majidou Msi, the late, who died sometime back, but he played football in France. Those are the only professional players we had. And then when Mitchell came, a number of young people were linked to play in European teams. There were not many at that time, but a few of them went, including former Uganda Cranes captain Ibrahim Sekaja and many others. So they went out and played football. So that helped a lot. Then now the young people playing football in Uganda had an example. They had an inspiration. They had people to look up to. They had people whom they wanted to be like. Because those guys who went to play football outside, they when they came back with some money, they changed the lives of their communities and their people. So the whole thing started growing like that. So Mitchell helped many of them to go out and play. Even when he left Uganda, he went with so many players wherever he went, and because I'm told his cousin was the coach of Belgrade in Serbia, FC Belgrade in Serbia, He linked well with him, and then some of our players went to Serbia. There was the then captain of the Uganda Cranes, assistant captain Neto Muyane went to Serbia, and many other players, around 4 players went and played football in Serbia. So, and now, this is how it started coming up. And then we got Bobby Williamson, who also helped many players to go and play in Europe. And then there are many academies kept coming in. And then school football also became so competitive from primary level, secondary level. The competitions also grew. As we speak now, we have competitions right from school, zone, region, national, East African, and Africa and world. And this is now how Ugandan football has changed, because now these players have exposure at all levels. They have competitions to play every day, every time. They are exposed to competition. This is how the game has gone. Now, there's also something that happened. You have just heard from our package from Kampala. That is the time, again, when FIFA picked interest in Ugandan football. They sent Ashford Mamelodi to Uganda as the FIFA development. First of all, he came as an instructor for administration instructor. Then he later came back as FIFA development officer to implement the goal project in Uganda. Then the administration was also aligned. A lot of change took place in the administration of football in the country. That is when Dr. Lawrence Muyunda became FIFA president. He did things professionally, and before Engineer Magogo Moses came in, then government also somehow picked interest and started injecting money into football. Because before that, then the football in Uganda was being starved. Government was not putting any money in football. The corporate organizations were not so much into football. So always football survived on people's, individuals' pockets. So later, when government also saw something was happening, they also picked interest and started putting money into football from schools, but also at the national level. The national team also started getting well motivated. So then later the coaching job became, an entitlement for foreigners. Remember, we complained about this so much, but the federation also had their own reasons for hiring foreign coaches, and somehow it worked. Somehow it worked out because every foreign coach that came to Uganda helped to connect the good players to play professional football outside Uganda. So this is how the whole thing changed, and as we speak now, we have now started tapping into Europe, getting players who have Ugandan roots to come back and play for the team, and the likes of Elio Caprodesi, the likes of Kipeza, we call him Mobiru. His mother is Ugandan, his father is Nigerian. He played in Thursday's game, and Cibic and others who actually have grown up in Europe, playing football from the young age in the organized environment of Europe. Now they are part of the Uganda Cranes, and this is now what has improved the competition of football for the Uganda Cranes.
Sam Mpoza, our correspondent based in Kampala, Uganda, talking all things Ugandan and East African sport. Mr. Mpoza, thank you so much for talking to us on Africa at Play. Have a good afternoon further. May football on the African continent always be the victor.
Thank you so much, my brother, and have a good evening.
That's how we wrap up our conversation with Sam Mpoza, our East African correspondent. A match between Copper Belt Ladies and the University of Cape Town in the Hollywood-based Super League is currently underway, and it's still 0-0 after 70 minutes of football has been played. Let's go to the dance floor. When we come back, we'll go to the live action in the Hollywood-based Super League.